Hello students, now today we are going to discuss a poem written by Robert Frost, that is Fire and Ice. So let's get to know something about the poet. So he was an American poet, as we know. The road was taken, many walls were chased, fire and ice, stopping by woods on a snowy evening are some of his famous poems, and he got 4 times Pulitzer Prize, and during his lifetime he received 40 honorary degrees. So this is what his caliber is. So let's get to know something about the poem. So introduction. Fire and Ice is a short poem consisting of 2 stanzas. So how many stanzas are there in this poem? Just 2 stanzas. It is such a small poem dealing with 2 possibilities of destruction of the world. Now in this poem, 2 possibilities, 2 probabilities are discussed as to how the world will come to an end. And what are those? The 2 different stanzas deal with 2 different schools of thought about the destruction of the world. Means everybody has his own opinion about the destruction of the world, right? So one with fire and the other with the ice. Okay, some of the people have this opinion that the world will come to an end by fire, and while some of the people, they have this opinion that the world will come to an end with ice. Okay, however, the poet has used the 2 elements both literally and symbolically. What does it mean? Literally means the poem has been used as literary. It means the planet Earth, the world will come to an end through fire. It means that the world will set ablaze, right? While the ice, okay, as far as the ice is concerned, the planet Earth will frozen, and in this way everything will be destroyed. So symbolically we will get to know further. Okay, now summary of the poem. The poem presents 2 contradictory views about how the world would see its end. So we have got 2 contradictory viewpoints that how the world will end. So the idea is based on the scientific stories. Yes, welcome to everyone. The idea is based on the scientific theories that the world will come to its doom either because of the excessive fiery heat or because of the freezing ice. So what is the ideas? One idea is that the world will come to an end, okay, when there will be a global warming and the planet will set on heat, or it will get heated, while on the other hand another idea is that it will be frozen down. Some scientists are of the view that the world would be scorched because of the global warming, while others hold an entirely contradictory view that it would be frozen to its end in an ice age in the future. So again, some of the scientists, they have this opinion that due to global warming the world will come to an end due to excessive heat. The poet subscribes to the first view that it would or that it is frozen to end, and others are of the opinion that it will come to an end because of the ice. The poet subscribes to the first view that it would end in fire, but the poet has this strong opinion that the world will come to an end through fire, but he uses fire and ice symbolically. Okay, not only he uses these 2 symbols literally, but he uses these symbols symbolically. How? Associating it with a different emotion. Means according to the poet, the fire stands for as a symbol of violence, fiery passions like anger, cruelty, brutality, etc. Means fire stands for anger, cruelty, brutality, right? And the poet is of the opinion that human beings are so much overpowered by these destructive passions that they may cause the end of the world. Means according to the poet, means in this world now people are so much angry with one another, they have so much hatred with one another that might be this passion can overpower them and they can destroy the world. Okay, like we see in case of world wars, we have witnessed world wars. So what happened due to wars? Okay, many people were died. It was just because of the anger, right? So these emotions in their intensity have the potential to consume the world. So these emotions like anger, cruelty, brutality, these emotions retain the capability to destroy the world if they are accessed. Similarly, ice has a symbolic significance in the poem and represents cold feelings like hatred, indifference, jealousy, apathy, self-centeredness. Okay. Now, according to the poet, the ice stands for hatred, means people hate each other. Indifference, people have nothing to do with with other people. Means, for example, some of the people are in pain, they are suffering, but other people they just don't give it a damn. They just don't care about it. For example, if some calamity happens in one country, if other countries uh, take a indifferent look, they become indifferent to that country. It means they are indifferent. Means it doesn't matter. It doesn't make any difference to them. Okay. So indifference, jealousy, you know it very well. Apathy. Apathy is similar to indifference. It also means indifference. Self-centeredness means when people become more and more selfish. The poet who finds violent passions to be potent threat to the existence of the world is not blind to the rampant cold emotions, because poet is aware. Poet is very well aware about the fact that the world could end due to ice. Ice means due to indifference, because when people don't care about each other, when they don't feel for the sufferings of others, so this emotion is also sufficient to destroy the world. And the poet knows it very well that these emotions, means these indifferent emotions are prevailing in the world. They are rampant in the world. People have lost the warmth of human affection, kindness, and sympathy. So nowadays, what happens according to the poet? Actually, poet is very old. Means it belongs to the 20th century, and so many years have been passed since then. And at that particular point of time, poet understood that in this world, there is no affection, kindness, and sympathy among human beings. Means these emotions are gone somewhere else. They are put to oblivion. The icy feelings of selfishness and self-centeredness have suppressed human values and have so strongly overpowered human beings. Means what emotions? Means these, hatred, indifference, these emotions, they have suppressed, means they have extinguished the moral values of the people, and they are a potent danger to the world. In this way, now it has become dangerous to the world. They may spell the doom of the world because they are sufficiently destructive forces. Okay, be it fire, be it ice, be it hatred, be it indifference. These are such powerful emotions that they can put the world to destruction. Thus, the poet does not rule out the probability of ice being a potential deadly force which can annihilate the world completely. In this way, poet is of the opinion that yes, these opinion means ice is equivalently, okay, ice is equally responsible for the destruction of this world. However, a poet has a less opinion about the ice. Okay, namaskar to everyone. Now concentrate on the lesson. While fire consumes the world quickly, ice is like a slow poison to lead the world gradually to its end. So, in the same way, the fire means anger will consume the world quickly. But on the other hand, ice means ice is like a slow poison. So, it will consume the world slowly, means gradually. Right? So, let's understand the theme. Robert Frost's point for an idea is based on the idea that the world is likely to encounter two different destructive forces. Okay? So, the world is most probably confronted with two destructive forces. What are those? Fire and ice. Either of which will spell its and because of its intensity. Means either fire or the ice, they can spell doom, they can cause destruction because of its destructive forces. Because when we have the excess of anything, it is really bad. When we have excess anger, right, intense anger, intense heat, we can do anything, okay, out of our emotions. But and similarly, when we become indifferent, the intensity of coldness or indifference, so it also causes destruction. Literally, the world may move gradually towards excessive global warming or towards excessive coldness, which will bring about its doom. Now the poet talks about the literal meaning. So again, it has got the same meaning. Means there will be global warming, as we know that it is a potential threat to the world, right? Global warming, due to global warming, the planet will get heat and will be destroyed. And again, on the other hand, to some extent, to some point, the world will be frozen and it will be difficult to survive for humanity. Symbolically, fire and ice represent contrasting emotions. So fire and ice, they represent the contrasting emotions. Like from the title we can understand, it is contrasting. Fire and ice, they are opposite to each other. So they have contrasting emotions. For example, fire symbolizing the violent passions like anger, cruelty, brutality, like, and ice, what it signifies? It signifies hatred, jealousy, insensitivity, indifference, right? Both the fiery and the cold emotions in their intensity can prove to be cause of the destruction of the world. Means again the poet is repeating the same idea, means the intensity of both the emotions, okay, be it hatred, be it indifference. So it can cause the destruction of the world. So since this suppress human values and annihilate people from one, alienate means isolate, indifference. So what happens due to these emotions? Of course, people will be alienated, means they will be isolated from each other, okay, they will no longer have human values for one another. In this way, they will become the cause of destruction. The world war happens just because of that, right? And still we see in the world that some of the countries, they adopt indifferent attitudes to some of the countries, right? Now, message. The poem conveys the message that if human emotions of anger, lust, jealousy, greed, hatred, and indifference keep rising, the world will sooner or later move towards total destruction. Okay, so again, poet is of the opinion that if these emotions, they keep increasing, they keep intensified, so they will lead to destruction. Later move towards the total destruction. Both the fiery and the cold temperaments have the power to destroy the world, and such temperaments must be controlled for the world to survive. So the poet appeals to the readers, to the world, that we should check, okay, we should stop these two emotions, these two strong emotions, so that we can survive in the world. The poet indirectly emphasizes the need of sustaining human thoughts and feelings for the survival of the thought. So the poet says to people that you should think about it, you should give it a thought, that you should have such kind of kind feelings in you, so that you and others can survive in this world. The poem contains a warning for mankind to be alert and aware of the danger in letting loose any such emotions. So finally the poet warns to the people that keep in check these two emotions, lest it should destroy you. Okay, if you let loose these emotions might destroy you. Okay, so we have some difficult words in this poem. The poem is very small. Desire means a strong feeling of wanting to have something. Favor means approval or support. Perish means to die. Suffice means be sufficient. So fire and ice. So it's very easy to understand. It's very simple. Some say the world will end in fire, something nice. So people have two opinions. Okay, according to their opinion, Either the world be destructed or will be destroyed through ice or through fire. From what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those with favor fire. Now, since the poet is wise, he has been observing everything ever since his childhood. Means he is such a great poet, so he observes things. So out of his observation, he says that if we talk about the destruction of the world, I am with those people who are of the opinion that the world will be destroyed by fire. So I am with those people because of his observation. So he must have observed in the society that there is lots of anger, and it might be because of that he might have witnessed world wars. So on the basis of these observations, these outcomes, these results, he has formed his own opinion. Right? I think I know enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is also great. But again, the poet says that yes, I know it very well that hatred is prevailed all across the world, right? And in this way, the hate can also become the destructive force. It can also become the cause of destruction. Is also great and would suffice. Means even the ice would be sufficient to destroy the world. Means the cold emotions of the people, indifference, apathy, it will be quite enough for the world to be destroyed. What does he mean to say? He means to say is like we have discussed in the previous paragraph. Means fire causes quick harm. Okay, it consumes the world in no time. Okay, while on the other hand, ice, it takes time, gradually it destroys the world. So even it takes time, but at the end of the day, finally it will destroy the world also. Now we have literary devices. So the first one is alliteration. Alliteration is nothing but the repetition of consonant sounds. Okay, we will understand it through an example. Some say. So S sound is repeated. The word W and W. Okay, so these two words are repeated. Okay, these sounds W and S. Okay, this is called alliteration. So why alliteration is used? To give a musical quality to the line. So next one is I hold with those who favor fire. Favor means F and F. Right. So first sound is repeated. Right. Now we have assonance. Assonance means vowel sound. Okay. I'm not talking about letters here. I'm talking about only vowel sounds. So it can appear anywhere. For example, if it means E sound is repeated. E sound. Right. If it, E sound is repeated. So this is called assonance. Anaphora. What is anaphora? We will understand it through an example. Some say. It means in the beginning of a sentence, some same words are used, some words or some phrases are used in the beginning of a sentence. So this is called anaphora. For example, in this poem, some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. So this is an example of anaphora, right? Symbolism. Symbolism is very simple. When something is symbolic to something. For example, a dove carrying an olive branch in its beak. So it symbolizes peace, right? So let's understand through an example. Fire is the symbol of anger, lust, greed, and violence. And ice is the symbol of hatred, indifference, apathy, and a lack of consideration. Enjambment. Enjambment means when one idea continues to the other line, to the next line, okay, without any punctuation mark. Clear? So some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. So we don't see any punctuation mark like comma. Okay. So one idea is defined in the first line. Okay. Now it continues till the second line without any punctuation. So it is called enjambment. Okay. So we have lots of examples of enjambment in the poem. For from what I have tasted of desire, I hold with those who favor fire. So again we can see I have tasted of desire, one idea, second idea. So there is no punctuation. At last a full stop is used. Clear? So this is called enjambment. So I think I know enough of hate, no punctuation. To say that for destruction I, no punctuation is also great and would suffice. Okay? So the poem is a perfect example of enjambment, right? So in all these examples, a line runs on to the next without any punctuation mark to show a pause or a stop. It means that this is a perfect example of enjambment. So personification, you know it very well. When we attribute human qualities, okay, to inanimate objects. So this is called personification. Now, fire is personified. Why? Fire and ice both are personified. They are capable of destruction. Okay, thus the poet personify fire and ice by giving them mind and power, right, to destroy anything. So they have this human quality of like mind and power. Now, imagery. Imagery in poetry refers to the mental picture of images which are evoked in the reader's mind. Means imagery is nothing but the mental pictures which are formed when we read a poem or any text, right? That is called imagery. Okay, when we talk about fire, so the image of fire comes to our mind. When we talk about ice, the imagery of ice comes to our mind, right? So this is called imagery. So what is the rhyme scheme? So there is not a regular rhyme scheme. A different rhyme scheme. In the first stanza, A B A A. Okay, and the second stanza, A B A B A B A. So okay, so there are different rhyme schemes. So let's discuss question answers. So there are many ideas about how the world would end. Do you think the world will end someday? Have you ever thought what would happen if the sun got so hot it burst or grew colder and colder? So again, since we have discussed the poem in the elaborative sense, so we can easily find out the answer. So the theories about the destruction of the earth seems to be very probable, as whatever is created must perish someday, and we know it very well. What is created, it is supposed to perish someday. Okay, be it anything. Okay, be it anything, because every object has some life given to it, like the things manufactured by the human beings, they have expiry date, isn't it? So even in nature, everything has expiry date, so they will perish someday. In the event of the sun getting excessively hot or growing absolutely cold, the earth would not remain a habitual planet. When the sun will get excessively hot or it will become excessively cold, so we won't be able to survive then. In the first case, intensity of heat will burn the world to the cinders. Cinders means ashes, and life will come to an end. In the second probability, ice may be so intensely cold that the world will be frozen, leaving no survivors, of course. In both extreme circumstances, we cannot survive. For force, what do fire and ice stand for? Of course, we have already discussed fire stands for violent passions like cruelty, lust, greed, avarice, fury, and conflict. Okay, which can quickly consume the relationship and cause the end of the world. Again, the I stands for emotions like coldness, insensitivity, indifference, intolerance, hatred, and rigidity. Rigidity means stubbornness, which may suppress human values and can bring the world to its doom. Right? What is the rhyme scheme of the poem? How does it help in bringing out the contrasting ideas in the poem? Rhyming scheme we have already discussed. So contrasting. The two stanzas put forward to contrasting ideas. We know it very well. In first stanza, fire is mentioned, and in the second stanza, ice is mentioned. So they both are contrasting ideas. So the variation in the second stanza is to show the contrasting elements of destruction, that is ice. Okay, in first stanza there is fire, and then in the second stanza ice is there. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. Why is there a difference of opinion regarding the end of the world? Means why people have different opinions about the destruction of the world. There is a difference of opinion regarding the end of the world because scientifically speaking, neither of the possibilities can be ruled out, as there has been an apprehension that the global warming may burn the world out. So we have both the apprehensions. People have both the apprehensions, like it could be destroyed due to global warming. Okay, the possibility is that also. Similarly, people fear that the excessive cold may spell its doom. So different people have different viewpoints. Okay, some of the people are of the opinion that the sun will get cold someday, so it will cause destruction. So that's why people have different opinions, different viewpoints. So the next one is, what makes the poet agree with those that the world will end in fire? How do you think the poet throws the idea of fire leading to the destruction of the world, or throws favors fire over ice for the end of the world? Justify it. The poet's personal experience and observations make him agree with those who are of the view that the world will end in fire. He has witnessed how fiery passions like anger, cruelty, desire, and hate are opposites but are capable of causing the same destruction. Although both the emotions are contradictory, but they retain the capability to destroy the world.